Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog, and I am driving, okay, this might not be the key, this is the key. I am driving the car which launched Toyota in India, the Qualis. Yes, the Qualis, the MPV which killed the Tata Sumo and the Mahindra Bolero. The Mahindra Bolero did not get killed though. Anyways, this is the engine of this vehicle, an extremely reliable engine, Toyota written over there. And there's no insulation. This metal feels so, I mean, it actually looks like they have sourced it from scrap and just, you know, somehow put it. Maybe this car has some modification. You close the hood, you realize it's all metal over here. This is a Royal Enfield of vehicles. Toyota badging over here, and the lights might remind you of the W124 E-Class. So this is the 3rd generation model, not the 4th generation model. It's sold as the Kijang in many places. It has the smallest tires I've ever seen on an MPV. These are 14 inches, 195/70, 14. These are aftermarket. These are wider ones. Otherwise, the car actually came with 175s. Yeah, 14 inches. Look at the space over the tire. There's so much gap over here. And the design is absolutely like a fridge on 4 wheels. I kid you not, this looks like a fridge on 4 wheels, nothing more than a fridge on 4 wheels. So they actually had multiple variants, and between variants also they had multiple variants. So basically FS, GS and the GST, and then they had the B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, and the box, it's just a box. What is this? It's just a box. It's a freaking box. I mean, so boxy. There's no concept of design. I think when Toyota decided to enter the Indian market, the Japanese management forced another person in Japan saying that you have to enter India, and he's like, no, I don't want to go there. Kuch karo, kuch karo, kuch karo. Or maybe he said that in Japanese. So anyways, he decided, let me do one thing. Let me launch a car for the sake of it, so I can just exit the Indian market right away. So they decided, let's launch the Qualis. Now they just did not pick up the Qualis and just launch it in India as it is. They made cosmetic tweaks. Now this is a one with cosmetic tweaks. Imagine the one which doesn't have cosmetic tweaks. How horrible could it look? But I don't think any vehicle can look worse than this in the Toyota lineup, because this just looks atrocious. It's very boxy, but somehow the design catches up to you. It's just like a square. In fact, another company known as Sonalika got inspired by this design. Who gets inspired by this boxy design to launch the Rhino SUV? I don't know, it's an SUV and MPV, and positioned it as a replacement of the Qualis, something of that sort. So Toyota actually gave it a black bumper over here. The bumper is actually body colored, but on the side it is black, so that when you hit anything, there will be no scraping of the paint. That is really very smart. Overall, very boxy design. Mirrors give a decent view of what's behind, but there is absolutely no blind spot because of the thin A-pillar, and you sit high and you can see the hood as well while driving this vehicle. Let's quickly open the boot. So it was available with 8-seater and 10-seater configurations. How do I open this? I need to put this key right here, and now it is opened. Come on. Now there's some challenges which I'm going to face in today's vlog. Yes, that's how it opens, and this is also completely rusted, but then you can't say much. Now there's stuff lying in this car. There's a JBL 200 watt speaker, no boot space with all the rows up. And guess what is the worst position to be in? This is the last row of seats. It's a bench seat, very flat. You sit upright, no under thigh support, and legroom isn't great either in the last row. There's no air conditioning here, but there's an air conditioning unit there placed in the second row. The last row is always for people you hate in your family, and you just stuff them there because you were like, acha tika, you really want to come with me on this vacation? Please let me go alone. I want to go with my friends. Yeah, you really want to hop along? Okay, fine. Sit in the last row of seats. That's what suits you. So this window actually opens minor, so that you can draw in some air from outside. Stop making that buzzing sound, making indicator hazard light switch. So there is the aftermarket speakers, I believe. I don't want to sit in the last row seat because there's no space at all. And you know what? You sit so close to the rear tailgate that it's kind of scary. There's a light here as well as at the front, which is not there right now. I don't know, it might have disappeared. And again, bench type seat. You can fold this seat 60-40. You can fold that seat also in one go, which means that once you fold these seats, you can actually carry a lot of things. Not great amount of legroom on offer. Under thigh support is absolutely lacking. In fact, Toyota went ahead and made 2 rows of seats just for children, because there's no under thigh support. There's absolutely no under thigh support. If I had longer legs, trust me, my legs would be touching the camera right now. You wouldn't be able to see anything at all. So seats are not very comfortable. There's good amount of headroom though. Air conditioning vents, 6 of them over here, and it gets adjustable headrest, 6 of them in a vehicle which happens to be an 8-seater. So the 10-seater would have side facing seats, and at the front it would have a big bench, which means 3 people could sit here as well. Now this seems very aftermarket with cubby holes over there. Meanwhile, there's a magazine holder as well. Now these windows, they don't get power windows here, but you need to slide to open them. Just need to figure this out. So this is how it opens. Yeah, it does offer claustrophobic feeling when the air conditioning is not working. There is no door pocket, but there's an ashtray because smoking was cool when you were driving a mafia car like the Qualis. As you can see, the floor is flat, so 3 people can actually fit in here, but I'm just so wary about the seat comfort. It is too upright, and under thigh support is absolutely not there. To open the fuel lid also you have to use the key. That was a situation back there. I absolutely don't miss the 2000s. Now, no keyless go, no push button start, none of that crap. Front gets a door pocket, which is enough to put a Colin ka bottle inside, and then you can spray it all over the place to clean the vehicle. There is no dead pedal on offer, but the good thing is ergonomically the pedal placement is good. Lot of exposed wires, yes, in a Toyota exposed wires, that's never heard of. And there's a side footstep as well. Now it varied according to the variant which you opted for. There's no height adjustment for the front seats, although you can take them front and behind like this, and you can see the amount of play. I don't know what animal is going to drive this car when there is no legroom at all for the driver itself. Why does it go all the way so much front? If the co-passenger seat goes, you can understand, but this seat, absolutely not. Now this is to lock and unlock the car, and this is another button. I don't understand what is it for, because the marking on it has disappeared now. Now this is the keyhole of this vehicle. Meanwhile, the levers are actually quite nice up to Japanese standards. Now this is the fuse box, which just comes in your hand randomly. Now obviously I can't complain much. These are the power window controls. Now I feel these are aftermarket power window units, and of course you can control both the front power windows using this button. You can also do a window lock for whom? Yourself. Yeah, that's smart. Let's get inside. Lot of wood treatment which kind of looks and these AC control look very similar to the ones we've seen in Maruti cars like the Omni as well as the Eco. There's a clock right there. Let me turn on the vehicle. No clutch lock. It comes to life, vibrating everything in the world. In fact, I kid you not, that tree was vibrating. There's so much vibration from this vehicle. Gear lever is really tall, and there's good amount of space if you want to keep your leg like this in the middle. In fact, a person can sit in the center. Obviously they have a bench seat as well. Auto locking doors, well, I think that's aftermarket. And there is this cubby hole which again seems aftermarket. Space to keep stuff. The glove box is lockable and is decent size, not really very big. I don't know what this button is for. I mean, I'm randomly pressing buttons. I don't even understand what they mean. Audio system, I think it could be aftermarket. There's a cigarette lighter, and of course, because it's the old car, it has to have an ashtray. This is the hazard light switch. This is the defogger button, air conditioning, and these are the stocks for the wipers. Let's use them right away. The wipers are working brilliantly well. That's amazing. The horn is decent. Steering is humongous. 2-spoke steering like the Mercedes S-Class, and the instrument cluster doesn't have much. Telltale lights in the center. On the left we get a speedometer along with an odometer as well as a trip meter. The odometer reads 1,74,600 kilometers, so it's done a lot of kilometers. On the rightmost we get the fuel meter as well as the temperature meter, and overall I would say that the quality levels are quite good when you compare it to competition, yet it kind of feels short when you compare it to what Toyota standards are known for. This is obviously aftermarket. There's no mirror right there, neither is there a mirror here, and there is good amount of headroom. There's a light which is hidden right there. Meanwhile, there is so much space. Look at the A pillar. It is so freaking small. I can actually measure it in a micrometer screw gauge or a vernier caliper. These are the controls for the headlights, and honestly the front seat could do with better under thigh support, but overall this car gives a good position of what's around. And I definitely like the fact that everything is so simple and so basic, but this wood treatment in a car which looks like a box on wheels from the outside is just a miss. It looks just too much for the vehicle. But let's get driving. But there's a button right there. I don't know this is for what. Meanwhile, this is the handbrake. Yeah, it is similar to the one on the Datsun Go. So that means that, you know, doing power slides not possible, drifting the vehicle not possible, although it's a rear wheel drive, so maybe that could be a possibility. Steering is so freaking light. No internally adjustable rear view mirrors. Let's get driving right away. Oh my god, are you serious? You want to do this? Alright, we are all set to go. Turning off the air conditioning, turning off traction control, engaging launch control, launch mode on, revving it, and off we go. Little bit of wheel spin on offer, and power delivery is really very flat. Absolutely ripping the motor in first gear, doing almost 40 kilometers per hour. Now we are in second. Absolutely there is no point going even in the mid-range, let alone the top end, because there is just no power or performance on offer. So this is powered by a 2.4 liter engine. It is a diesel engine. It is actually 2446, but because it comes below 50, that is, it comes below 2450, it is 2.4 liter, not 2.5 liter. Performance is very good lower down. There is no low end lag, there is no turbo lag. You know why? because there's no freaking turbo in this car. This is not turbocharged, it is naturally aspirated. Same engine in turbocharged configuration was used in other cars like the Hilux, and as you can see, performance is decent out on the highway as long as there are not many people in the car, because as you put on weight, this car just bogs down in terms of performance. Produces a modest 75 horsepower. Meanwhile, the torque output is 150 Newton meters, and that's pretty less for a vehicle which weighs this much. This weighs 2000 plus kgs. The gearbox is very clunky. I believe there are all chewing gum factories in this gearbox alone, and the clutch is also very heavy. Extremely heavy clutch. Feels very soggy and spongy as well. So in terms of performance, there's not much to offer. In fact, when you want to make an overtake out on the highway, planning an overtake also doesn't make any sense, because even when you plan and downshift, this car has nothing to offer at all, because the punch from this motor is very poor because of the weight and the lack of power and a lack of turbo as well. In fact, this is one of the few diesel cars to be sold in India which doesn't have a turbocharger, and that is obviously in the interest of cost. There are so many vibrations on offer, I can't tell you the amount of vibrations. In fact, the gear lever vibrates so much it can break your knee. I kid you not. If the gear lever hits you, it will break your knee. It is so much vibratory, and the vibration is so much on the body. The body panels actually move like that. I don't know what is happening. The vibration levels on this car, in fact, beat even Royal Enfield motorcycles. That is the level of vibrations. Earlier today, I drove a Jetta, by the way. The good thing is there's good amount of low end punch, so driving in the city is not a problem at all. But out on the highway, just no punch at all. Now, this car did not have to produce too much power, because when you're driving alone, it doesn't feel sluggish. It's only when you add more people in the vehicle, and this can carry a lot of people, a lot of luggage as well, and that's where it bogs down in terms of performance. The steering offers absolutely zero, or rather it offers minus feel and feedback. There's no feel, there's no feedback, there's none of that sort in this vehicle, because when you turn, you don't know where exactly this is going. It's just like, it's like a bus steering wheel. Just see, there is so much play in the center. No feedback whatsoever. The tires are really small, handling is poor, body roll is, oh my god, massive, and there's a lot of body roll actually. Body movement isn't well contained. It actually flexes all around wherever you see, and the ride quality is also not that great because it uses leaf springs. Now this is a body on frame vehicle, which means that it is heavy, and because it uses leaf springs at the rear, ride quality can be very poor, especially in the third row. It is absolutely pathetic. In fact, it's so bad. Okay, there are no brakes on offer, but we finally managed to stop somehow. Okay, tires making a lot of noise. Really small tires on this vehicle, and off we go. Come on, rear wheel drive Qualis. Where are you going to go? I mean, on full throttle, it can't overtake a Brezza, which is not on full throttle. That's the kind of performance on offer. So let's not talk about performance. Even the dynamics are not that great because of leaf springs. Yeah, I told you the ride is very bad, especially for a person who's sitting in the third row. He's actually sitting on the suspension, and God bless you if you're planning to sit there, because the ride comfort is absolutely pathetic over there. Now, this car was launched in a slew of variants. In fact, there were 3 lines. There was the FS, Family Saloon, GS, I don't know what that stands for. Yeah, it's actually the Grand Saloon, and there's the GST, which doesn't stand for Goods and Service Tax, but it is for Grand Saloon Touring. Don't know what that means. They also launched a petrol with overconfidence, and an RS version was also launched. By the way, RS doesn't stand for what you're thinking. It stood for Royal Saloon, and Toyota was so confident after the success of the Qualis. They were like, we launch a petrol and we position it upwards and all. It was pricey. Petrol engine sucked and did not sell at all. So that was like a flop for Toyota, because the Qualis was accepted well in the tourist market and for people who had a family and people who are actually moving away from the Sumo or the Bolero, or actually this was the alternative for both of these vehicles. Yeah, there is no concept of NVH in this vehicle. Yes, a Toyota car which doesn't believe in any sort of NVH, this is the one. So much noise, so much vibration, so much harshness. But remember guys, this was the 2000s, and all we were getting was the Tata Sumo and the Mahindra Bolero, which were even worse than this. So people loved the Qualis actually. Like I told you, 3 trims were there, FS, GS and GST. Now there's another funny part over here, okay? These trims were subdivided into further 5 variants, which happened to be the B1, B2, B3, B4 and B5. So what really mattered between the FS, GS and the GST was air conditioning. The base variant, which happens to be the FS, did not get air conditioning, did not get a power steering either. But in terms of where the GS and the GST offered more was in the fact these models were getting these features, but also some cosmetic tweaks, like in terms of exterior and interior modifications, like more features, like this clock for example, that cost rupees 10,000 from Toyota, 500 rupees or 600 rupees from outside. Yeah, clocks are expensive if you go for OEM. Meanwhile, the Qualis' success was massive. Toyota really thought that now India can be a big market, and they did not decide to bring in the next generation Qualis, the 4th generation. This is the 3rd generation actually. They decided to get that vehicle, and that's the reason why this vehicle is no more. The Innova, which is the best ever utility vehicle. Was it the Qualis? Was it the Sumo? Was it the Innova? No, it is that car which you can see right ahead. Yes, that happens to be the Mercedes AMG G63. You can see that it looks so freaking beautiful. Just look at it. Isn't it amazing? Anyways, let's show some corners to the Qualis. Fingers crossed we should not topple any which ways. Hold on, Annabelle. Okay, there's a Porsche Cayenne Turbo standing over here. There's the same car I actually drove earlier. Performance start, and here we go. So in spite of this being an SUV, it is very capable off the road as well, and there's so much harshness on offer. I don't understand why this engine did not get a turbo, and the handling dynamics are also very poor, but it's easy to drive, you know. It drives like a car because the steering is extremely light. Yeah, there's no feel on offer. Like I told you, the higher trims were actually getting power steering and air conditioning, and then there was split AC for the rear bench. It was separate. That was actually the USP of the higher trims. Meanwhile, when you're coming across this corner, come on Qualis, there's so much roll. It continues rolling. Small tires absolutely suck. The pricing was around 5.8 lakhs and went all the way till 10 lakh rupees. That is very expensive, you would say, but it's a Toyota and it's a very reliable vehicle, offers plenty of features as well for that price in that segment. That's what made the Qualis stick. And today also a lot of them are running on the road. That is the reliability of the Toyota badge. In fact, Qualis stands for quality and service. I kid you not, quality and service. And when Toyota actually launched this car first time, they told people try and touch. So the launch actually happened in 2000, but for the most part of 1999, the second half, they were promoting this vehicle massively, and Toyota actually launched this vehicle thinking this is not going to work as much as they expected it to, but it actually sold way more than they had imagined, and that was largely because their touch and try and touch, whatever campaign they ran, they worked well, because when people drove this car, they found it much better than that one, the Bolero. No, that's not the Bolero, that's the Mercedes AMG G63, which kind of moves all over the place, and then there's the Porsche Cayenne. Oh my god, it looks so lovely. I know I've been photobombing these guys, but here we go, hard onto the throttle. There is so much sound on offer. Gearbox absolutely sucks, but drive a Bolero, drive a Sumo, and drive this one, and this feels like, oh my god, a super car. So guys, this is my review of the Toyota Qualis, and if you liked it, you know what you have to do. Give it a thumbs up. That's the like button. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 33 seconds. I'm kidding, it takes around 21 seconds. Top speed is around 130 kilometers per hour. It can go till the speedometer marked 160 kilometers per hour if you find a cliff to jump off from. And if you like this video, make sure to, what do you say, Neha, what do you say? You liked it? You like the car? It's amazing, it's awesome, it's fast, it's speedy. I'll tell you a funny story, okay? When I was a child, let me pull the handbrake on. So when I was a child, I used to see a lot of these Qualises on the road. You can look at the camera when I talk to you. Yeah. So I used to see a lot of these Qualises on the road, and you know, it somehow captured my mind so much, the boxy looks and all, and I had absolutely no knowledge or understanding of what is the concept of a vehicle, or what is aerodynamics, or what is suspension, chassis stability, chassis strength. So I wanted to buy a Qualis, put a V12 motor inside it, modify the shit out of it, and then drive it. And I didn't understand that, you know, the concept of what is a monocoque chassis, what is a body on frame, because if I had actually done this now and accelerated for the first time, the Qualis's chassis would be in 15 pieces and the engine would have burnt out. So guys, that's a sad story of my childhood where I was such a dumb duck. Anyways, bye bye. Toyota actually gave the Qualis a facelift in India, and yeah, updated bumpers and lights and whatnot, and there were a lot of special editions which also came, you know, with graphics and yeah, basically graphics itself. You can see in the air conditioning there's a full button as well, so if you want to get full air conditioning mode, that's also possible. By the way, this car returns a mileage of around 8 to 10 kilometers per liter, which isn't bad at all. And right now when I'm driving this vehicle, I must tell you that it's kind of smooth. Why am I talking like this? Because I forgot about all this. Yeah, sucks.